Hello, champions and social media family. Welcome back to Creating a Seat at the Table. I am Denise, your host, and many of you know me as the former Miss Please from Real Talk. I hosted radio for 4 years and a YouTube channel. I'm an unorthodox radio personality. Our show is about a sort of topics from family, marriage, education, kids, politics, religion, mortgage and finances, relationship, and yes, relations. I said it. How is your love life? Your job, your income. We talk about all things taboo. And so if you're uncomfortable, have a seat, pull up a chair, and let's get comfortable with being uncomfortable. As we delve into our segments, you will hear success stories from those skilled in their craft as well as opportunities learned along the way. We may share tears, frustration, aha moments, and those other emotions that we've suppressed from compassion to defensiveness. Our history, our history segment is a six-part series. Listen to us every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Today's episode is sponsored by my coaching company, denisebowles.com, where we offer an easy to follow cutting edge approach to gaining leadership momentum from entry level to top level positions. And so let's jump into it. Today's guest is Darren Thames, a motivational speaker, mediator, licensed school counselor, and adjunct professor. This is one of our history men's segments on, I'm glad this is recorded, on bridging the gap for men from hopeless to hopeful. Our topic today we'll be covering is to provide, protect, and guide. Welcome, Darren. Thanks. Thank you for joining us today on Creating a Seat at the Table. Would you please share with my audience and my listeners a little bit about yourself?
Well, as you say, I'm a licensed. Hello, Denise. Thank you for having me today. It is a pleasure to be on your show. I'm excited about this opportunity. I love when things are raw and to the point because, people have been dealing with so much taboo stuff, and we're in a place now we don't need nobody sugarcoating or hiding stuff under the rug, but to throw it out there so that other people can learn from our mistakes or our success, and they become everything that God has set up for them to be. Hey, let's make it happen. But as you say, I'm a licensed school counselor. I'm an administrative professional with about 10 years experience in management, but 20 plus years in social services, human services, and child welfare. And, about 5 years in public media as a public mediator, adjunct professor, as you said, and working in nonprofit. Currently I have a Bachelor of Arts in Sociology, Masters of Religious Education, Masters of School of Arts in School Counseling and Human Services. And in June of this year, Kingdoms Builder Seminary is going to present me with a Doctorate of Divinity honorary doctorate degree. And I'm excited about that.
Congratulations.
I thank you. I'm excited. But when I turn 55, my plan is to pursue the Doctorate of Public Policy at UNLV, and hopefully that can happen. And my goal is to try to retire from Clark County School District and, try to get a tenure somewhere, and then also try to travel around and do, motivational speaking and workshops. And so that's it.
Think
That's
you're
what I,
motivational. You're always you encourage and motivate anyone that crosses your path. I love
yeah, I try to, I done made enough mistakes. Why not share it now? I'm not speaking from something I read. I'm speaking from something I did.
I love it.
Or the other word, I done.
But you know what? That's how we learn, right? We learn from experience, and sometimes you have to let people experience things for themselves. Um,
Mhm. Yes.
and then some things, you do have to share. So let me get into my first question for you today. I want to talk about provide. Is it easy for a man to be a provider? Because from a woman's perspective, we only know our side. We see their
Mhm.
fails, their many fails, and we also see their wins and successes. But oftentimes enough, as women, we only see the frustration, the fails, and the really small victories.
Right. Well, I think the first thing, Dr. Bull, also congratulations on you getting your doctorate degree
Thank you.
in May. That's awesome, and I'm very proud of you.
Thank
But
you.
I think we have to look at the definition of provider. And so, provider, the definition says a person or thing that provides something. And so it gives you a sentence that says leader, a leading provider of personal finance service. So similar words that come with provider is supplier, donor, giver, contributor, sourcer, a mainstay, and so when I began to look at that as, being a provider, protector, high priest, or you got God in there. When I look at being a provider, I look at the fact that I'm trying to make sure everybody in my home has what they need, not what they want. That's the difference. Has what they need. So that means I have to go out and make that happen. And the woman that is involved with me have to understand that the desire I have about making it happen, and able to speak to that desire, be able to speak to that drive, and to be able to say, baby, I support you. Yes, you could do this. Oh, wow. Yes, you, my man, you can make that happen. When your woman can talk to you in that way, it makes you want to say, I'm going to go out to be the provider, the high priest. I'm going to do everything. I'm going to work this thing. I have to work 2 jobs, 3 jobs. I'm going to make you're going to have what you want, baby. This house going to be taken care of, bills paid. We ain't getting no lights cut off no more. I'm about to make this happen. I'm about to throw away that video game and get up off my behind and head to the job service, get these things started. And here's the thing. Maybe that person has a spirit of entrepreneurship. Maybe they can't do, they ain't wasn't designed to do a 9 to 5, but maybe they had the spirit of entrepreneurship. Hey, you still got to support him and encourage him. I'm telling you, the power. I think the thing that is missing is that women don't understand the power they have in their voice.
I agree because I was going to ask you, as women, we do our best, and we just continue to do our best every day. But I'm learning the language among men. Doing their best is sometimes just not enough. They feel like they've still fallen short. Yes, I pay the rent. I keep the lights on barely. I barely buy groceries, but I'm doing the best I can as a provider to give you the basic essentials. You know, I just feel like there's a disconnect in communication because a lot of women are like, well, yeah, you pay the bills and you put a roof over our head. Those are the 3 necessities they teach you in elementary school. Food, shelter, clothing. But what
Yeah.
above that is the man doing?
Well, here's the thing. Above that really is like you go back to what you said. It's about communication. Uh, you know, if you can't, if you with a woman you can't communicate, or you with a man you can't communicate with, why are you with them?
There's
You know,
always struggles. There's always struggles.
right? And there's always going to be struggles, but the thing is, it's about communicating about those struggles. I'm gonna tell you a powerful book to read that I suggest to your listeners. It's called Emotions by
Oh, I
Bishop
love that.
Hicks.
Ooh, I read that one.
Emotions, when it talks about when he gives that illustration about Delilah and Samson, that is powerful.
My favorite one in there is when he talks about how men, which is going to be a whole nother segment, but how men cry quietly. He says the guy left and the fish overheated in the fish tank. And it dawned on me that men cry silently. And I always thought men didn't have emotions. They had no feelings because they don't express them, so they don't exist. We will take a break while we're connecting our internet. Okay.
Okay. Doc, look, what you're saying right here is it connects with this protector, because here's the thing. Like you say, well, you doing the necessities and everything, but what about him crying silently that he wants to do more and he wants to be more? He wants to have more. He wants to see you smile more. At some place, you're gonna have to say, look, let me help him get this burden off of him that he got to be everything and all things. Let me help him, because sometimes helping him get the burden is not taking on his role. It is just saying, baby, I appreciate you. Sweetheart, thank you so much. Honey,
Small things.
yes. And that's why I keep coming back. Women don't understand the power they have. Man.
My mom always said if you can make your man feel like he was gonna conquer the jungle and tame that lion, he will go out and do everything in his power to not fail you.
Woo! That's the truth right there. And look, I'm telling you, and you try to wonder, how did the heck did she get him? Well, guess what? She know what to say. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give you shoot. My grandmother used to look. She used to get her a new car and new furniture every 3 years.
How did she do that?
Yeah, look, hey, my grandfather, she'd be like, Ashby, I time for a new car. My grandma be like, my grandfather says, well, Sarah, there ain't nothing wrong with the Chevrolet you got. They go in that room and shut the door, and the next day they come out. My granddaddy says, Sarah, what time we going to the Chevrolet dealership? Y'all understand the power y'all carry. Hey, you got the power in your mouth and the power in your coochie. Good God. You know what I'm saying? And what you say and how you do it. You can't beat that. That's why that's the best thing God made for a man right there was a woman.
That's what my mama said. She said, you look back 50, 60, 70 years ago, and the woman kept the house up. She cooked, she raised the kids. No matter what the man did when he went out, she was still a woman at home. And even though he strayed, he wasn't divorcing her. He wasn't leaving her.
Yes, yeah, well.
It wasn't good times though. So
all time wasn't good time now.
Yes.
So them folks that's been together 50 plus years, 40 years, 20 years, they ain't always good time. There was some time she was gonna kick his and make him sleep outside with the dog in the doghouse.
That is so true.
But to go back to that question, it's just that when you understand what a provider is and don't get it mixed up with something else, with somebody telling you that a provider, he should be doing this, he should be doing it. Well, no, it's not a should. It's something he does out of it's something he does out of love. Because the way he loves you is something you do for him that causes him to love you and make him want to say, girl, what can I do for you?
So let me ask you this question. How can we as a whole, a community, because these struggles are in the Black community, the Latino community, the Asian community, the Caucasian community, it's not just isolated to African Americans. How can we better, as a whole, better understand the provider role, and what's a good way for us to be supportive, other than the comforting words and the encouragement? What are other ways that men might want to?
Well, the thing that comes to mind for me is you need to learn what it is that caused your grandparents and your great grandparents to stay together. You need to learn that. Those some things that I wish I'd have took the time and learned. Because if I'd have learned that, then I wouldn't have to be married so many times. So, but if I was able to take the time to learn what caused them to stay together through the thick and through the thin, for better or for worse, for richer or for poor, to death do them part. What was it that caused them to keep going and not say, well, I'm gonna throw in the towel and give up, And
how would you?
I would say research that. Research what that took. What was that?
How would you answer that for our millennials? Because I did a survey, and a lot of my mentees and close circle of friends and viewers had mentioned that a lot of them are afraid of the commitment because of the broken homes.
Hmm.
And
Well,
go ahead.
they can't be afraid of the commitment, because if you understand, God orchestrated us to have committed relationships. I'm gonna give you a good. Let me give you a good scripture right here, right?
Okay.
It says that it said therefore in Genesis 2:24 it says, therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife, and they shall become one flesh.
That's the only scripture I remember after
Yeah,
I turned 18.
I'm saying here's the thing. There's even though people are failing what has been, people are failing it as generations move over, but the scriptures still stay the same. It's the same thing that your grandparents and great grandparents that were Caucasian, Hispanic, black, white, whatever, followed and hold dear to, right?
That's true.
And
It
they
stands
and they
true.
came look and they came through the hard times, the bad times, the good times. Well, they don't remember that movie Richard Pryor had. See no evil,
Oh, yes, I remember
good.
that.
See no evil, hear no evil,
Speak
right?
no evil.
Speak
Yes.
no evil, right? They came through all of that, right? And produce you.
That's true. Amen. That's true.
So millennium can't throw away the foundation that brought them to where they are. They need to reach back. And at this time in our lives, we really need to reach back and look at the foundation that brought us to where we are.
So let me ask you this. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go backwards and I'm gonna go forward.
That's
So
fine with me. I go back and forth with you. Come on, let's go, girl. Let's do
okay.
this thing.
So going nowadays, you see that men are changing the diapers, and these buff burly men are now walking these chihuahuas, and I see them walking their cats. You know, they're cooking, they're cleaning, they're carrying the load. Not all men, but they're carrying the load. And there's still a great percentage that's like, no, that's a woman's job. I'm not doing it. But in the past, life was more like that. Leave it to Beaver. The woman
Mm-hmm.
stayed home and she didn't ask questions. And now we're looking at the other side of that coin of the current. Either they're changing the diapers and they're helping out, or you hear these women say, "Oh, he's a deadbeat dad. He's not doing anything." How can we? How can we motivate all levels of manhood to see this from a different lens?
Just because he's changing diapers, walking dogs, and everything, it doesn't change his manhood. It doesn't change his role as being a protector.
That's true.
It doesn't change his role. You know, being a protector, right, is really, like it says, you're that protects someone. The similar word says defend, serve, bodyguard, right?
Right.
That's a similar words for protector. So if he at home, he could be at home being the protector.
Walking the cat, huh?
Walking the cat, walking the dog, picking the kids up from school, doing the laundry, cooking, and then she comes home from work as a CEO or the doctor. You know what I mean? Or the lawyer. And she comes home, but when she walks in the door, she says, I'm home now, and I don't have to be in the role of leadership because my man is in the leadership at my house. When I walk in the door, whoo, what?
That's a good feeling.
Here's the thing. Some men don't know how to operate in that. And that's why you have a lot of women that don't understand how to respect their men in that, who are CEOs and say they can't find nobody to be their companion. Honey, the man don't want you to be his mama or his guide or his guide or try to tell him what to do. He needs you to come home and be his woman, somebody he can love on and take good care of when she get in the house. Baby, you've been out there fighting the world and fighting these people and all these spirits you dealing with and all these mindsets at work, making that good money. But when you get home, you ain't got to do all that. I'm about to rub your feet, help you take that little business outfit off, and drop it, put you in that hot tub with some roses and rose petals and some bubbles. Baby, you want a glass of champagne while you soaking? Don't worry, the kids already done ate dinner and I got them ready for bed. It is gonna be all for you. You see what I'm saying?
So now I think my listeners are gonna ask if you're single.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got a relative.
Yeah, I'm very single and appreciate the singleness, and I'm loving it. And yes, now.
But so how do you do you have to ask? Does that have to be asked?
It has to be communicated.
How do you communicate that? Because I do see a lot of women, they're like, girl, I've worked all day. And this is real talk. I just had this conversation 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
You work all day and you come home and you still got to cook. You still got to take care of the kids, bathe them, feed them, help with homework. You got to clean up. You got to put a load of laundry in. You've got all this to do while your man is watching TV, or what is common nowadays is playing the video game.
Oh no! Then you get your man right. Because tell him, look, I don't need a little boy. I need a grown man.
That's little offensive, boy. Though.
Dang.
Woman, that's offensive.
Listen, there's a time and a place to tell him.
I'm listening.
The time and the place. Don't tell him during the time you don't get home and you frustrated and upset because you say the wrong thing. Mm-hmm. The time to talk to him is not in front of his friends or while he on the phone about stuff. It's time to tell him when he go to lay his head on that pillow. When you go down and lay it on that pillow, put your hand in his hand, rub them legs against his legs. Say, look, baby, I need to talk to you. There's some things that I need help with, and I need you to take on the responsibility for this for me. It will surely make me feel good. You know, if you were able to do that. Man, you done sweet talk, let him, he start feeling like he done come up with something. Oh, yeah, baby, yes, I'm going to have it taken care of, no problem. Next time you come home, stuff done. You like, that's all it had took? Yes. Just a little communication and use the power you got. That's all it took.
I think that's common because when I used to work in the office, I would always see women, it would be no reason, and their desk would be full of flowers. And they're like, oh my gosh, you know, I got a purse, I got a new dress, and he's taking me to dinner. And I'm like, what did you do to deserve this? She said, nothing at all. You know, and women would be like, I want to get a man. I want a boyfriend. And I'm like, girl, don't rush it.
Hey, listen, if you don't know how to love yourself first, how you going to rush to try to be with somebody else?
That's true. Amen. That's true.
So how you going to speak? How you going to speak the way you should speak to somebody, you know, when you don't know how to speak to yourself? What? Listen, you can't tell me I ain't fine. And you can't tell me I ain't a black, intelligent, educated man. What?
Yes, sir.
It might not be fine for you, but it might be fine for somebody else because the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Watch out, girl. Yes, watch out. Shuck it, duck it, quack, quack. Don't get me started. You know? but the real thing is that, you know, it's all about communication, not communicating, but communication and having those real conversations. People don't have real conversations no more.
No, there's a lot of assumption. I think that we moved away.
And they're afraid they're going to hurt somebody's feelings. What? All this political correct and all is scared to say something. I don't know where all this BS come from. Say it like you want it, like you mean it. Tell me. If you don't like me, just tell me you don't like me.
And I think that's a fair statement.
Don't tiptoe around me. Just say if you don't like my black, ugly self, just say it. And I'll be like, okay, that's fine. I appreciate that. But I ain't ugly, but I am black.
All right. So my next question is protect. Is there ever any fear in protecting? Because men seem so fearless. Mm-hmm. And I know when I asked my dad and my mom about this, my dad always said, you don't ever show fear. But, you know, he was in Vietnam and he grew up in Dogtown, LA. and he was in the military. So he said, if you show fear, people will run all over you, especially
Yes.
being a male.
Right. You can't show, there's a time and a place to show your vulnerability. There is always a time and a place. And he's right. If you do, people take advantage of it and try to run over you. That is very true. However, the vulnerability I share with you behind closed doors as my woman should not go outside our house. And it shouldn't be something you throw up in my face later on.
That should go both ways, though. And I have talked to several women that they respect that role, but it's not reciprocated.
Yeah, but the thing is, in order to reciprocate, my grandma said if you lay down with a dog, you get up with fleas. You got to know what you're laying down with.
Every time wake up with bites and
Right.
scratches and rashes.
You got involved with somebody you ain't run their background and the history on. That's you. You just find out they was crazy. If you didn't find out if you ran the background, you find out their daddy was crazy and their uncle and two of their first cousins were crazy. So you think it's gonna skip? You think it's gonna skip them, and then you're gonna lay down with them and have kids, and you wonder why your kids pray. All that stuff, man. You need to figure stuff out before you get with somebody. Find out if they can communicate. Find out if they understand what finances is, what a budget is.
You know,
Find out if they know what family love is, because some folks don't know what family love is.
So since you touched on that, before I move to the next question, let's talk about that. Because one of the things that I find, especially in the Black community and the Latino community, is you just pass on a tradition that you see. And I have a friend, my cousin's friend, he wants to have a relationship. And his question is always about, well, how do you fix the Black family? It's not just the Black family. If you didn't have your dad to raise you, then it just seems it's generational. It's okay for me to not be there for my kids. It's okay for me to not raise my kids. And it creates a cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we rebuild the family structure?
That's a good word. The good word is rebuild, not fix. Not fit. Rebuild is a good word to use, because in order to rebuild anything, it has to be already built. It has to have it there before.
Okay.
So what was before? How do we come back to that? And it goes to foundation.
Mm-hmm.
People don't believe in building on foundation. They want quick fix, quick happening, quick sex, quick relationship, and all that. But what happened to building a foundation and learning? Because you might be quick with everything and learn that the foundation got cracks and holes in it, and now you realize it won't last, and it all shabby and about to fall down. If you took the time to build it right, you'd have been okay. It's just, man.
It's hard to build even a house. If the foundation is cracked, the house does not last.
Look, listen. The higher or the longer you want to go in your relationship, the deeper you're gonna have to go. That's why our great grandparents and grandparents, they had deep foundations that kept them to be able to go those long distance. Case in point, similar. If every skyscraper that built in any city has to have a deep foundation. You think they got them high skyscraper and they got a little 6 feet foundation? No.
Oh, the building would fall.
Right. They had to go deep in the foundation, deep into the ground to keep that thing sturdy. Because you never know when wind come through, strong wind, hurricane, tornado,
earthquake,
all kinds of stuff. So all those things right there are called problems in people's lives. But if you got a good foundation, you'd be like like one of those palm trees down in Florida.
all over the place.
And then when the storm over, they like this. So everything around it destroyed.
That's so true. That's facts.
Yeah. So next question.
Oh my gosh. All right. So we're going to go back to the guide part. And before I go on to guide, let's tell me your rendition of the word guide.
I don't like God. I think God is a cop-out.
All right. Tell me what's a better choice.
Because, all right, the definition say a person or a thing that protect. Wait, no, that's protector. Guide say a person who advises or shows the way to others.
What was the second part?
Or shows the way to others.
Okay. So that's a guide.
Look, similar, it says escort, attendant, usher.
Okay.
What the? Listen.
So then.
I don't, listen, women don't need their men to be an escort. They don't need their man to be a conductor or usher and all that. They need their men to be leaders.
Ooh, I like that word, leaders. You're right.
They because if they be leaders, the spirit of guiding falls into that.
Okay, so a lot of men do not know how to be leaders.
Well, let's transition.
Okay.
Now.
And that's just a woman's point of view. So before the audience, I'm sure I'm ruffling feathers and bringing out emotions.
And you tell them the truth, let them go ahead and get mad. They need to get mad because you need to hear the truth. The truth is, yep, some men don't know how to be leaders because they never saw a leader and what a leader looked like.
That's true.
And just because and your mama tried to lead you the best she can, but a woman can't make a man.
Somebody else just told me that.
There's no way. We don't even have the same makeup, DNA, all that and everything. You know.
So that is one of my questions, but finish telling me about that.
But here's the thing I'm looking at is we were taught to be providers, protectors, and high priests.
Define high priest. When I hear high priest, I think
high
of religion.
High priest is a spiritual leadership, spiritual leader. It doesn't matter about what type of religion or anything. It's about being a spiritual leader. So spiritual leadership, which incorporates what? Vision, hope, faith, and altruistic love to motivate oneself and others in order to have a sense of spiritual survival. And it says that this leadership style points the way that could intrinsically inspire each person to work beyond the role obligation for the common good of the household or the family. This leadership helped to develop morality, benevolence, and ethical behavior within the family structure. So,
oh wow, that's way better than guide.
Yes. So you see, I say God is a cop-out. You listen, look, God wants us to be spiritual leaders of our household. Mm-hmm. He wants us to be able to have a vision for our household. Show them what hope and faith look like. What's morality is, how to be ethical. Because listen, my grandparents said this. How you carry yourself out in that street reflects back on us. And it shows that whether you got in a home training or not. Really what they were saying is it's showing whether you have any morals or ethical behavior.
And that's funny you say that. I always taught my kids, whenever you go out in the streets or in the community, I need you to represent. And I need people that are not like you to not be afraid of you, be willing to converse with you, being willing to network and work closely with you instead of being afraid of you.
Yes. And but that has to be taught. And if a man, now I'm speaking from a man's perspective now.
I love it. That's what we want.
Now, if a man has not seen that or learned that, how can they do that? So now they have to find someone like a coach.
Can his woman teach him?
His woman couldn't teach him.
Okay. I just wanted to ask because
his woman couldn't teach him. and
Okay.
she could try hard as she can. And
Hmm.
that's why I think Angie Stones or Jill Scott said you can't make you can't a woman can't make a man, or what them saw when
Is it
somebody
Angie Stick? Is it Angie
so
Stone?
I don't know, don't quote me. But anyway, but here's the thing, I'm saying, for me, I'm speaking for me.
That's okay.
My father was murdered when I was 7.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
So thank you. But my grandfather stepped right in. So I saw what it means to be the high priest, the provider, the protector of your home. I understand what it means to be the spiritual leader. I saw that in my grandfather. Now here's something profound. This is profound. My grandmother was more educated than my grandfather, and she made more money than him.
Oh, that sounds like my grandmother and grandpa.
And, and my grandfather, Ashby Mack, had a second grade education, wrote his name with an X because he
Really?
couldn't spell his name. But he worked at his job 35 years and got a gold watch because he didn't miss one day. How you work at your job 35 years and don't miss one day?
That's
And you got a
so.
second grade at the paper mill, Georgia Pacific.
But isn't that what we do? My grandfather was a fisherman and he was like the herbalist, the old wise man. And my grandmother was a teacher. And before she died, she graduated with her PhD. They
Mm.
presented it after she passed away. But she loved my grandfather. Without
What?
education, she loved
What?
him. He couldn't do any of that. His name was Linus Patterson. Couldn't do
Dude,
anything.
listen, she said the head of this house is Ashby Mack,
That's what my grandma said.
and nobody will disrespect him or his house. What?
Yes. Where is that? Where has that gone?
Did not play anything, you
Where has
know.
that gone? How do we
But
get that
it
back?
hasn't gone anywhere. It's just that folks don't see the value in it no more. How do you get them to see the value in it again?
That's true.
You need examples like that that's being taught somewhere. You need shows like this that brings it to the masses in a way, to help open up their understanding. Or like one of my professors used to say is, come out of tunnel vision and come into a peripheral vision
Ooh,
to
that's
be able to see
powerful.
things, right? Come out of the tunnel vision and narrow vision of things. Man, look, I'm praying. This is my prayer for myself, is that God will send me a woman that will be able to see the greatness in me, appreciate me, and know how to speak to the voice that cries inside of me, that
Mhm.
says, "Don't worry, you got to cry no more, babe. I'm gonna take care of that." And I'm not just gonna take care of it for a little bit, not for a little bit, for a little while, but I'm gonna take care of it forever. Because, I'm the kind of guy that would pay for everything. I'll buy you a house, buy a new car, pay bills, everything, whatever. Come on, baby, let's go on some trips. Let's do some stuff.
But let me ask you, is that Southern hospitality? Or is it the culture? Or is it the upbringing? Or is it a culmination of everything?
It's a combination of everything. And I don't think it has to be a Southern hospitality. It just could, because everybody is Southern. Everybody, look, all black folks are Southern. All of them came through the Middle Passageway. They all came through on the slave ships. And then they
Mm-hmm.
migrated other ways, straight through the South. They came in through where? Through Charleston, South Carolina. They came in through by Savannah.
Arkansas, Texas.
Savannah. You got Texas. You got where's the other body of water? You got Florida. Then you got North Carolina. You got all these other bodies of water where people were coming in with slave ships,
Oh, yes. Yes.
right? And they were all coming in through the South, and then they migrated in the north and western direction, right?
Right.
So somewhere in your DNA there is a Southern tick.
Okay. I didn't think of it that way. I didn't know
Yeah.
that was that narrow perspective, but now I've got peripheral vision
Yes.
on
Yes.
that one.
So, but to get back to that, that's the thing. Spiritual leadership. You know, every man wants to have a vision for his family.
Do they really? Because I just met someone who said he wants to buy a house.
Mm-hmm.
And my partner says all the time he wants to buy a house. But I've met people working for the school, working for the casino, and they're like, I don't want to buy a house. I have no desire to ever own a house.
Yeah, but
So,
that comes with time.
okay.
It comes with time. Right now, that may not be the place they're in, the mindset they're in. But as time go on, and life has a way of giving you experiences that you say, okay, I'm just tired of giving somebody my money.
Ooh, yes, that's so true.
I want to have my own.
So here is my big question for you.
Okay.
Why do men, it's two-sided, okay?
You can't say why.
How come some
Thank you,
men
thank you. Because why is accusing? Now, don't accuse us before you ask us the question.
I know you taught me this years ago.
Yeah.
How come some men tell their kids, their sons, go out and get as many women as you can? And they tell and then some fathers teach their children to be young men and to be respectful. And like you said, communicate. And you get a girlfriend, you work hard, and you build a family. You don't be out there running with all the shenanigans. That's, well, how do you bridge that gap? Because it's totally two different views from a father talking to his son.
It all boils down to how that father was raised.
Okay.
Did that father had a father that spoke into his life like that? Or did the father just only had his mother? And he only knows it from a woman's perspective.
So is that harmful when you see a mother that's like, you ain't bringing all them girls with my house. You better choose one.
That is good. That's a good thing. That teaches stability and commitment.
Okay.
Because if you ain't ready to get in, if you ain't ready to be involved in that, then stop running around. Now, it's one thing to date, but it's another thing to lay down.
What's the difference? Because I think that has been that's been blurred. Those lines are blurred.
Yeah, it's been blurred. Dating is just going out, getting to know someone. That's it. That's what dating is. Dating is going out and get to know them and asking questions and having conversations and stuff and all, And if you have a connection or you have a vibe, okay, good. And then after that, go home and Google them and research them. Pay the $5 or $10 to do the criminal background check and everything else. So you make sure you find out who they are and start asking questions about where are you from and what's your relationship with your mama and your daddy and your parents and your siblings and stuff. That speaks volumes. You can't love your sisters. You hate your sisters, but you want me to be your woman. Your sister is a woman too. Now she might be a devil, but still she's a woman.
And I tell people all the time, do you know his credit score? Does he have a relationship with his mom? Does he love his mom? Does he call his mom? Does he visit? Is he a mama's boy? Like, who was his dad? Have you gone to meet the family?
Right.
People are like, no, I haven't met his family. It don't matter about his family. I love him.
How you so in love with him and ain't met his family? Here's the thing. If a man won't be with you and he crazy about you and he wants you and he want to pick something committed, he gonna take you to meet his family.
Okay.
He's gonna take you to meet his family now. And then if his mama's living, he gonna take you to meet his mama. If his mama's not living, he got sisters, he gonna take you to meet his sisters. If he ain't got no sisters and just got brothers, he gonna take you to meet his favorite auntie. He gonna take you there. He gonna have to take you to show you all because he got to hear what they got to say.
And if they say negative, what is that?
Oh, it ain't gonna work. Don't. I've been doing that too. So it ain't work. Don't you cross that line. I'm telling you, I'm warning you right now, brothers. Telling you right now, brothers and other brothers from I'm telling you, that's not work. Don't do this.
You don't
Yeah.
think there's a small ounce of it working?
Unless
I
you
think
can,
family
if
makes
you
a
can
difference.
fight, if you can fight through that and come out on the other side, and they get to see her in a different light, But you have to stand the test of time, my brother.
I think it's hard for a lot of men to stand up to their families
It's
when the
hard. It was
families
hard
don't.
for me.
When the family doesn't like your woman,
Right. It was hard for me to stand
really?
up to them.
Will you
Yeah.
share with that with our audience, our
Yeah.
listeners?
It was hard for me, to stand up to them because I was crazy about her. I was crazy about her, in love with her, everything else. But I didn't do the research like I should have, and they did. And
Oh,
they was like, she ain't good enough for you.
but is that fair? Is
Look,
being good
that
enough?
ain't, they ain't what our parents, they had our grandparents and parents raised us to be with. Oh no, no.
So did they see something that you don't see, or is it really they're just not
They,
good
they,
enough, or they don't
they,
like
they,
the person?
they saw the same thing I see, but I think everybody deserves another chance.
Yes. And do you believe second chances
Second
is the
chance,
best
third,
approach?
I believe it's second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th chance.
And it
That's why
doesn't.
that's why I didn't put a number on it. Everybody deserves another chance.
Okay.
There's no number attached to it. So you never know. Because look, I think about it this way. How many times God has given you a chance?
Ooh, all the time, all the time.
How many times? Because he could have let you die in the car accident, but he gave you another chance.
Yeah.
You could have died on the plane, flying where you want to go, gave you another chance. You could have died in your sleep, gave you another chance. You were sick as a dog in the hospital, flu, everything. You could have died there, give you another chance. Come on now. So how come you can't give other person another chance?
I think because we're human and sometimes you give someone another chance, multiple chances, and they take you down what I call Alice in Wonderland's rabbit hole.
Well, see, wait a minute. No, I didn't say keep giving them chances if they take you to Alice in Wonderland. I said if they deserve another chance, you give them another chance. If they don't deserve, see, that's communication, open communication, clarify. Ask questions to clarify, See, that's an example for y'all right there. But
so let me ask you something. I had a guest the other day, and he said one of the things that you find is women are we love to love and forgive because we're emotional creatures. And if a man cheats on a woman, she'll forgive for the sake of the family, right? But if that same man is cheated on, oh, it's a whole nother story. There is a storm that is never going to die out.
let me say this.
Okay. And I'm not saying this, listeners. I don't condemn.
I'm trying to say. I'm trying to put it in some good words. I'm trying to say.
Well, go ahead. I just want my listeners to know that I'm not
A
condemning.
little silence is okay. A little silence is okay. Do unto others. How it says, I go. Do unto what?
Do unto others as you want them done to you.
Yes, there you go. And if you can't take it, don't what?
Don't give it.
Don't dish it out, right?
Right.
It is. So a lot of time as men, we don't think about what we're dishing out and how we're carrying ourselves and the things that we're doing that are hurting the woman that we profess our love to. And we take it for granted. And so when we do that, we expect them to forgive us and give us another chance, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when the shoe is on the other foot, it makes us feel like you didn't contaminate our stuff.
Like I said earlier, I don't.
Wait a minute. I said, but look, wait, listen to me. You make it feel like that you didn't contaminate our stuff, but you forgot you was the one that contaminated it first. So the contamination was there when you brought it home. So what you expect to happen is what? Because if you the high priest, provider, and protector, the spiritual leader, so they follow your leadership, they follow what you do. And if you understand, oil runs downhill, not up,
Sure
right?
does.
It does run downhill. So yeah, that same spirit right there, infidelity ran down onto her and onto your children and everything. And you wonder why they acting like that.
Wow,
But when she go out and do it, you mad as all get out, and you want to kill her, the dude, and everything connected to it, until you be like David. David was like, David said, David was talking to Nathan the prophet. David said, David said, David, what you do if somebody was to do this to this woman and take this woman and kill the husband and all? And David went off, was like, boy, I would go off, I would bring that person under charge, and I would do this to them, and I would make them pay. And I'm just paraphrasing that, the Bible. Yeah. I said, I was doing this and everything else. And David said, well, who it is? And Nathan said, you are the man.
Ooh.
You the man. Because you slept with Bathsheba, had a husband killed, and took his wife.
Ooh.
And when Nathan said, you are the man, David fell to his knees.
Wow.
So there you go.
Wow. So like you said, the Bible stands the test of time.
What? It'll get you. I'm telling you. It'll get you. If you want to know how to love your woman, go on in the Songs of Solomon. It'll talk to you about breasts looking like nectars and all kinds of stuff. Ooh, man, go and teach you how to speak to your woman the right way.
And Solomon?
The Songs of Solomon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Listeners, if you're struggling at home, it's always that good book called the Bible.
Go on in there. Just tell you how to act right and look at her right and talk to her. You just got to change up some words. That's all. But here's the thing. All jokes aside, is that relationships that last the test of time take the time to build great foundations.
Ooh, I love that.
They have to build strong, deep foundations. In order to build strong, deep foundation, it takes time.
Can you build a foundation for anyone, our listeners that are in relationships or trying to get into a relationship or ready to get out of a relationship? Is it ever too late for them to build on or correct the structure of their foundation?
It's never too late. It's never too late. If your foundation is kind of leaning to the side, kind of cracks, you can bring in someone that works on foundations, and he'll come in and he will survey your foundation and then tell you what was going on, and then he or she will tell you how I can solidify or make not solidify, but cause your foundation to be solid again.
That sounds like a counselor, correct?
Solid, be a solid structure, right? And you come take care of that. And that could be you may need some therapy, and you may need spiritual therapy, or you may need a therapy from a licensed clinical therapist. And there's nothing wrong with taking advantage of that. Tell
me why. And I ask it, I mean to interrupt you, but why? Because I've heard too often that men don't feel that they need to speak to someone about their problems. They can fix their own problems, but those problems don't exist and they still sit and fester. Am I in your neighborhood? Because I know you're a counselor.
Let me read you a scripture. Ecclesiastics 4:12. Though one may be overpowered, two can defend themselves. Right? A cord, a 3-strand is not quickly broken. And it says a 3-fold cord is not easily broken.
So for my listeners, what does that mean for those that are not diverse in biblical?
That is saying that, right? It's okay to have another person to counsel you. You can't do it by yourself. You can't fix it, right?
Right.
It's okay to have someone else to come in and to show you what you can't see and then give you advice or a treatment plan or advice on how to fix this, how to rebuild, not fix it, rebuild it.
Rebuild.
Yeah.
Okay.
How to rebuild this, how to rebuild. And then the other thing is they need to take the time to figure out what type of love language they speak.
Oh, there's a book that I have. Are you a gift? Are you time? Are you touchy?
That five, the five love languages, right? That
That helps.
service, touch, affirmation.
Gifts.
What's the other one?
Oh,
Gifts,
gifts. Yes.
and what's the other one?
It's time.
And time.
Mm-hmm.
Time. Right. And so, I know my love language is words of affirmation and touch. Because girl, if you know how to speak to me and touch me, I'm gonna give you all your gifts. I'm gonna give you all the time and service and everything else that comes with it. You know what I'm saying? But it is imperative for me to also learn your gifts.
See, I think I struggle because I read that book and I listened to the audio, and mine is gifts. And it's funny because when I try to convey gifts, defining the definition of gifts, people are like, "Oh, you want expensive things?"
No,
but it's not. It's like leaving a note on a piece of tissue, or saying "Have a good day" on a paper towel. I remember.
That's in between gifts. That's like a act of service or something. It's kind of in between a gift and acts of service, you know.
I think so, because my partner used to leave roses on my desk every day.
That's a beautiful thing. That's a gift.
Yes, and I loved it, and I get like little cards made, and
that's a gift. It's a gift. And then when he does something like make dinner or buy you a pair of socks or buy you a bracelet or some earrings, it's acts of service. That acts of service. There's a gift, but acts of service, the service that he's doing, running the water, washing the dishes, sweeping the floor, mopping, acts of service, putting gas in your car for you, wash your car.
Oh my gosh! Why can't we? I don't see enough of that, because I have a girlfriend back home, and her husband every weekend would fill her tank up on Sunday, so she would have gas in her tank for her twins and her to go about. My cousin, her husband would make sure her car was washed, so she always had a clean car for the week. And it just seems like when you ask someone, like, "Can you wash my car?" because their car gets washed, it's like, you can wash your own car, and it's like, what?
Yeah.
How do you communicate this?
Right. But see, it could be. See, you got to remember that what you see in the front of you may not have happened. It may not have happened overnight. It may have taken some time for them to come to that agreement with each other.
And I agree, because we've talked, and when they shared their history, I'm like, oh, there's no way. There's no way.
The background. See, I remember Bishop Jakes was saying that. He was preaching one time. I remember he was saying that everybody wants my anointing, but they don't want to go through what I've been through.
Truth. That's facts right there.
Or you want to be where I'm at, but you don't know the times that my lights was cut off. You don't know the times when I didn't have food. You don't know the times when I had to take the money from the house to keep the lights on at the church, and then my wife mad because our lights got cut off, and then I had to go down and get some assistance and get the light. See, all you see now is the glory of who I am now, but you ain't see all the struggle and all the difficult times and the sacrifices and the nights of crying and nights of going without. And they don't know nothing about that. So people don't know the backstory. So what you see in front of you, there was a price and a cost for it.
So
you
how
know.
can women understand a man's backstory and be supportive? What is one piece of advice to the women, our women listeners?
The thing I say to women is be open and not judgmental.
Powerful.
Be open and not judgmental. Let a man tell his truth. Let him be vulnerable enough to tell you all his failures and the things he did wrong and the mistakes he made and the bad decisions he's made. But then and then allow him to say, but that's not who I am now.
What if they show you that who they are
Mhm.
matches what they've told you?
Then then you found out they really haven't came out of that. They're still the same person they are, and that's time for you to say, I can't deal with that. That's not for me. Because where I'm at in my life, I can't have that with me. I have to have somebody that is going to compliment me, or someone that's going to push me, or someone that's going to encourage and empower me. And I can do the same with them. And it causes us to go up together, or whatever direction we're going together, but not backwards and not down the rabbit hole.
Oh, I love it. Well,
Yeah.
thank you, Darren. Before we end our session today, our segment today, I would like to ask you, it's a question by one of my listeners, in one word or a phrase, how would you describe provide, protect, and high priest?
Uh, Manhood.
And
I
the
didn't say, I
biggest,
didn't say a boy now. I said manhood.
but every boy thinks that they're a man.
Yeah, but you got to pay the cost to be the man.
What is the cost?
It costs. It costs to be the man. It costs. It's sacrifice. You want to be the man, you're going to put somebody on your shoulders and on your back to help them get to where they need to go.
Ooh, amen. That's
You'll, you'll,
powerful.
you'll give up. You will give up what you need, and you'll give up what you want and your need just so they can have.
And we ignore or overlook or don't pay attention. And I know we sure don't acknowledge
Mhm.
when men do offer that of themselves.
Oh my God. And man, it's women, it's women got great men for companions and just don't know how to take care of them.
No, but
Don't
I
know how
have
to,
to
don't know
tell
how
you,
to treat
but I have to tell you, because that was brought up in my last episode also. Some women do not know how to treat their men.
them. They
And
don't.
I think it's cultural driven, because you look at African American women, and I can only speak for that. We are taught to be strong and to not depend on anyone, to do and provide for ourselves. And you look at Hispanic women, well, hold on. And then you look at Hispanic women, and they're taught to cook and take care of the house, and the men take care of outside the house. And then you look at the Asian women, the community, and they are taught to be subservient to their men. Um, and so there's such a disconnect, because all of our races are interracial.
Right. But
And
here's the thing. But they all do what how you outlined and talked about each of those races or cultures, right?
mhm.
It's still the same thing. They're all doing the same thing, just have a different word for it. But they're all doing the same thing because they're still submissive.
I don't think
They're
Black women are
still
submissive. When you talk
black
about
women.
submissive, they get
Black
upset.
women. Listen. The only reason. Let me tell you the only reason why black women are not submissive, because black men don't understand what submissive means.
Oh,
And a lot of times black women aren't submissive because they haven't been taught what submissive means. Submissive ain't mean that, I'm submit to you and I'm gonna do everything you say and everything else. No, submissive is not like that.
oh, okay.
Submissive has the has a way, a word, or a meaning of giving oneself because of how I love you.
Is that what it says?
That's,
Definition?
no, Nate. Let me look at the definition. You know how I am about definition.
Yeah, because I know when I did Bible study and we got on the word of submissive, I was like, we can skip this chapter. And it wasn't that I was defiant; it's just that I didn't really understand it.
It says to yield to someone else. Mm-hmm. You submit to someone else will, which literally you put your own desires lower than theirs. Did you say that?
Say it again.
Did you hear that? You yield to someone else. When you are submissive, you submit to someone else's will, which literally put your own desires lower than theirs. Look, it says, right. It says you can see this in the Latin root of submit or submittere, which is the form by sub, under, and mitti. So here's the thing. I'm telling you better stay with me. I'm telling you, submissive has, listen. A man has to be submissive too.
Does he really? Now let's talk. Come on now.
Man has to be submissive too. You don't think so?
No.
Hold on.
Look, I'm sure my listeners agreeing with me. In what capacity is a man submissive?
Let me go to Ephesians 5, beginning in chapter 2. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 25. All right, let's read this to you. Okay. It says, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her, that he might sanctify her, having cleansed her by the washing of water with the word, so that he might present the church to himself in splendor, without spot or wrinkle or any such thing, that she might be holy and without blemish. In the same way, husbands should love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself, for no one ever hated his own flesh, but nourishes it and cherishes it, just as Christ does the church. Wait a minute. You know what that's saying, right? Yeah. Let's break that down. That's saying.
Break it down.
That's saying, same way your wife, the same way she's submissive to you is the same way you should be submissive to her. You need to be submissive. You need to yield yourself to her. And if you can yield yourself to each other, then you don't have to worry about infidelity. Because you're too busy yielding to each other instead of yielding to somebody else.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
You know?
That's true.
That's the whole purpose of that ring, that circle in that ring that goes on your finger. It's a circle. It's not a crack or broke in the circle, right? It's a continued. It's continued in the infinite circle, right?
Yes.
So continue to do that circle of yielding to each other and submitting to each other's needs and submitting to each other's wants. You don't have time to be submitted to somebody else.
I love it. That's true.
That's why I want to submit to my woman, and so she can know that all my heart and my intention is on her. Lord, send her to me right now through this podcast, God. Bring that woman. Bring her.
Make sure I get an invitation, please.
No, she going to have to date me for at least 3 years so I can find out what kind of foundation we got to have. I need to research who she is. Let her research who I am. Yeah.
I like that. You have goals. You have a timeline. I like that.
Yeah. You know. Talking about you gonna marry me after a year. I've been there, done that. It ain't work.
Hey, they say third time's a charm.
Hey, but I can't put a definite answer on that, because there are a lot of people that have met each other and know that that was their soulmate, and they've married in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and been married now 25, 30, 40 years.
Ooh, that's a blessing.
You know?
Love at first sight. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So they fought their way through it, through the ups and downs, through the good times and the bad times, you know, for better and for worse. They fought through it.
And she allowed him to be himself, to be vulnerable.
Yeah, yeah. For me, I just want to be me. Just allow me to be me. Don't try to control me. Don't try to manipulate me. Don't try to point me the way you want it. Let me be me. I'm gonna be 53. I'm a grown man. Just let me be me.
So I have to ask you that because I've heard that comment or statement a few times in the last year and a half with the pandemic. You've got couples that I talk to, and what does that actually look like? Because to a male perspective, he's like, let me be me. From a woman's perspective, we're like, I thought who I
What?
see is who you are.
No, no. Let me be me is like I said, not trying to manipulate me into doing things, or trying to control me or trying to change me. Because when you met me, I told you everything about who I am. I told you everything about what I'm involved in, what I do, right? And
Right.
everything. So why are you trying to control that? You was crazy about me when you heard about all of that, and then after time went by, now you want me to stop doing this, stop doing that. Where are you going? Who are you going with? Who it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where is all that coming from? Because have I given you the spirit of infidelity?
I
Because
think
see,
that
you
comes
know,
with question. So I think that the motive behind that is women are not naturally insecure until you give them a reason to be insecure.
reason to be. But if you haven't given them a reason to be, you
You,
know,
t- you taught me this years ago. You said that if a woman is ever insecure, it is the man's job to make sure that she feels secure.
that's right. It's his job to make sure. That means he has to start doing things in a way that makes her feel secure. But does he have to change his individuality? No.
No.
But may he need to change the amount of time or the things that he is involved in, and
So
start giving more time to her and fulfilling her wants and spending more time. I mean, I'm gonna say this. Let me say this. Um, this old school bishop I know, Bishop Hardy, said that a man thinks that the grass is greener on the other side,
we just talked about that too.
but if you water your grass and put some fertilizer in your grass and
Preach.
spend time with your grass will be greener than the other side and look more beautiful than that.
Preach. Yes, it will. But here's my question to you on that is that sometimes there's a lack of transparency. And so
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes it's not what you say, it's what you do, your actions. So even
Right.
though someone is spending time 12 hours at work, there's always that fear of, when you spend more time at work and out of the home, those women or those men at work start to look really good to you. And you start speaking to them and you build conversations and you build a relationship with them. And then you recognize, hey, I'm not getting this at home, which is common back in the 50s and 60s when the boss would sleep with his secretary. I see her all day. She gets my coffee. She takes my notes. She looks good. She's crossing her legs. She's got her hair done. I go home and my wife is trying to cook and she's cleaning and her hair's in a bun and she's got sweats on. I go through this whole step with my women that are my mentees, but this is troublesome. There's no transparency. And even though the man might say, I work all day, I'm not doing anything. And then there's that one message, that one text, that one email, that one comment in your sleep that just boom, I knew I was right.
I learned from that. I've had that experience. And what you have to learn to do is guard your emotions. You have to guard your emotions and know that your emotions are for the woman at home, not for the woman at work or the woman in the street. Because sometimes people become emotionally tied to folks. They ain't had sex, they ain't going out, they ain't do nothing, but emotionally they don't become tied to them. And so it's a matter of time before everything else start falling into place. So you have to guard yourself against those kind of emotional things, you know. And what I've learned too is, if that is what turns you on and gets you going emotionally, looking like that at work, then spend the time buying some stuff and taking your woman out and treating her, and let her put on her heels. Take her to get her hair done. Take her to get her nails done. Get a babysitter or something for them bad kids. So, you know, that she been taking care of. And she working all day and come home still deal with them bad kids. You know, I'm saying do something special for her. Not every once in a while, but do something special and kind and loving, and make her look good and make her feel good. Because I guarantee if you make her look good and feel good, and she out somewhere and you holding her hand and you walking proud, like, yeah, you wish you could have this. This is mine right here. And you know, and flirting with her while you out and everything. Boy, shoot, man. See, I don't know. Hey, I'm telling you, I've learned a lot. You know, I learned a lot. I know, you know.
And I appreciate that, because, you know, we don't know that. Like, you know, I tell women all the time, get up, pull your hair back in a ponytail, put some lipstick on, put your hoop earrings on, get out the sweats, get some cute shorts on, or a t-shirt, but just get out in pajamas and out those
Right.
cleaning clothes.
Get some heels on. And the heels, listen, heels, I don't know. I don't know about other men, but me, heels is something else. It is a beautiful thing on a woman. Lord have mercy. Well, I be watching women heels come by. I be like, whoa, yes, I'm gonna have to buy them for somebody. Yes.
Let me tell you, when I had a radio show, so I have 5,000 pairs of shoes. I've been, you know, giving my collection away, but I am at 5,000 still. And one of the things that I've always talked about in my radio show, when I used to model with shoes, heels have three purposes. And people think I'm joking. They've got three.
Preach to me right now, because I'm about to get an offering. We're gonna get an offering tonight. What's the cash app? What's the cash app thing is? Tell us, send it cash app, Venmo, what's the other, Zelle, yeah, that. All right. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Say it. Say it.
Heels are for coming, going, and in the air. That's what heels are for.
Hey, now that's a workshop right there by itself. It is. Coming, going, and in the.
They are.
In the air. I almost spoke in tongues just now. I almost was like Mercedes, Lexus, Honda, hey, Honda, just now. Woo, man.
But, you know, and it's funny because every time I meet people, they're like, oh my God, you're the lady that said this on the radio. And I'm like, yes, that is me. But, you know, they have a purpose. Mm-hmm. They make you look good. They make you feel good. They make the people watching you feel good. You know,
I don't know. I'm just in love with heels. I don't know. Every woman I've been with, that I bought heels for. I was like, hey, you need to get some heels to wear. And I don't care. And I don't care how the woman. I don't care what kind of shape, size the woman is. She could be BBW, thick, skinny, whatever. You with me, I'm gonna buy some heels. You got to get some heels, baby. You can't go with me like that. You need some heels on. Some heels on and some jeans and a nice blouse and a shirt. Put some earrings. Go in there, put some lipstick on and stuff. Put your eyelashes on. Let's do this thing. Because when I want to flirt with you, I want to hold your hand. You know. And we have. Because I'm gonna try to look good for you when I walk out. And you need to do another show on smell good. Because I don't know why men don't want to wear cologne no more. I don't know what's up with that.
No, they don't.
I'll be wearing my cologne. Hey, stop it. Sir, what is that you wearing? I can't tell you because I don't want your man wearing the same thing I'm wearing.
And that's funny you say that, because when I was at the casino, I remember one of the gentlemen, I'd be like, and I'd move over. I'm like, what do you have on? And he's like, cologne. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. You know, my son loves cologne. Um, he loves to dress up. Loves to wear bow ties.
Oh,
Yeah, he's that kid.
we might be a kappa in the making. I know. What's up? You know what's up to all the fruit loops out there? Okay. All right.
Yes, he loves that stuff. So, cologne is one of his things in dressing up. But I want
Yes.
to tell you, Mr. Darren Thames, thank you for coming on our show today. It has been a pleasure, and we will have to bring you back for another segment.
All right.
Most definitely. I would like to talk about respect and another show.
Yes. Yes. We could talk about that and everything. But
Yes.
before you go, I want to just congratulate you again on
Thank
your
you.
accomplishments. And it's been a long time coming.
Thank
And I'm
you.
very proud of you. I'm always watching to see what you're doing next because I know it's always going to be successful and it's always going to be professional. And so, listeners, hey, whatever you need, you know, holla at a girl. She got you.
Oh, well, thank you so kindly. And I cannot wait to see you get your honorary. Please invite me. I would love to be
Yeah,
there when they represent you and
that's right.
honor you with it.
You're like, mm. So,
Well, thank you again. Thank our viewers for tuning in. As always, it's a pleasure. And until then, we'll talk again. Cheers.
cheers.